Oh, how's it going, everybody? I'm Aiden, and welcome to the manga panel. Hello, welcome to the N10 podcast, episode number 17. Today we have a special episode, the Chicago Anime Midwest episode. Today I am joined by N10 Cisco,
Hey,
Radicool, myself, Linkachu, and KnightSky. Hey, KnightSky. Wait, what are you doing here, KnightSky? This isn't your episode. Get out of here. No, 17 episodes in, and finally an episode without KnightSky.
Finally. Oh my god, finally got rid of that guy.
We're actually just giving him a break. We're like, hey, we're doing another podcast. He's like, please, no, please, I can't anymore. But,
Real.
so we just got back from a trip.
Workforce.
Yeah, he literally edits every episode. Shout out to KnightSky. We love this guy.
No.
He even did like the multicam. He edited the multicam setup.
The multicam IRL podcast,
which
yes.
was the worst audio ever. That audio,
Yes.
we did not think that one through, but
Great scuffed.
yeah,
but
this episode we have us three because we just recently did a meetup where these two came to my hometown, Chicago, and we got to do some things around the city as well as go to an anime convention. So we're gonna be talking about that this episode.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I obviously as a Canadian don't really get to see a lot of the states, so it's really cool having a lot of these American cities under my belt. As Cisco scratches every orifice of his body with a knife.
I can't get over the ghost behind Cisco. Look at that thing. No, look at the face, the book to his left. It keeps moving.
Oh,
See it?
the vagabond, because like there's like a fan or something going. I've been noticing it.
Yeah, there's a fan. And
It's a ghost.
It like flaps open the cover for a second.
Scary.
Let's put a fun one in there.
Saint Young Man. I love Saint Young Man. That's a good one.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
this will probably be lots about anime and manga because we're a bunch of weebs. It's so crazy. Someone had pointed this out. It was like 2-3 years ago. Matt would never. If Matt uttered the words anime, I think he would vomit. Like he'd puke in his
Gross.
own mouth. Now this man is going full on at anime conventions, cosplay, and everything. Like that's all.
Times change quick.
Yeah, his head wasn't even working. He was so excited about anime.
That hurt my feelings, but it's true.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about, so we kind of want to go through the trip as like it went on, like talk a little bit about the days, kind of talk about our highlights from each one, our stories. As some of you may or may not seen, I put out a vlog. If you haven't seen, that might have given you a little bit of taste of what to expect. If you haven't checked out the vlog, maybe check that out because there's kind of like a behind the scenes to that video or that trip. Exactly, or probably not, but it's on my channel, Linkachu. In case you can't find it, in case someone forgets to link it.
Make sure to check it out, and that's definitely for sure why we're here with the podcast, because other than that vlog, there's not much content from this trip. However, there's plenty of content in terms of memories, stories, and uphill battles, and victories. So that's why we're like, you know what, we gotta share this all in a podcast, and here we are.
Yeah. Like kicking things off, I came down the Wednesday. Just a day earlier than Matt, just to hang out with Cisco. Just because travel is, especially traveling across the country, like I have to go pretty much from almost the West Coast just into the middle of North America. If you guys haven't noticed, North America is a big place, so it takes a long time to travel. So I was like, I'll take a travel day, but I was getting there early enough that I'd be able to see Cisco and have like some time with him. And chance happened that there was a Game Grumps show that night. So we went downtown Chicago. And we caught the last Game Grumps show live
Chicago Theater too.
at the Chicago Theater, which was a gorgeous theater. It was such an awesome venue. The show was great. I'm a big Game Grumps fan. Well, like I love their stuff. I'm not like a mega fan, but I do really like their work. I'm a big fan of them. But Cisco hasn't seen much Game Grumps stuff. He's just aware of them, and he went. And what do you think of the show, Cisco?
I had a good time. I was kind of worried getting there. I was like, man, they're going to make all these references, and I'm not going to understand any of them. And to an extent, yeah, because people were, like, laughing and cheering for, like, certain catchphrases and jokes, and I'm just sitting there like, but I had a good time. I loved seeing, I love seeing, like, video game stuff be just that popular. Where it's like a full house, and everyone's having a good time. Really enjoyed it. And it was funny that we had to pay $5 for a soda. It was only like half a can. They like filled it with ice.
Any venue like that is the worst. It's like even a movie theater. It's like they charge you at the wazoo for the smallest stuff.
Yeah.
Just
But
wait,
yeah, no,
everybody.
100%.
A lot of the uphill battles are money related, so we have plenty of stories when it comes to being
Oh,
upcharged.
This was a very cost-effective trip.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it was good. I love the Game Grumps show. My favorite part definitely was like it was crazy because again, like there even for me there was a lot of jokes that went over my head, references, but they ad-libbed so well with the crowd. It was awesome. But yeah,
My favorite part was when they made people dance, and then this girl almost threw up. Like, I was like, you dance for 30 seconds, if that, maybe 20 seconds. And she's just like, like, you're good. And it was like a whole thing. But they played it off so well.
They handled it really well. It was awesome.
Yeah. But I was like, see, you guys who are weebs and nerds and people who just want to like stay on Discord all day, do exercise, because at the Game Grumps show, when you have to dance in the game for 30 seconds, 20 seconds even, you're gonna vomit on stage.
Yeah,
so,
it gets to you.
Or even just
Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah, I was gonna say even just play something like Ring Fit Adventure every once in a while. Don't forget that your body actually moves a little bit. I'm also calling myself out too. This isn't like a call out post to all weebs. I'm a part of this party.
This is for all of us.
I need to sit down and take my own advice. But yeah, no, that was really cool. Got to stay at Cisco's grandma's, which was a really nice stay. I had a good sleep because I was so goddamn tired. And then we were gonna wake up super early in the morning to go see Matt, and that went everything went according to our plan. If you narrow it down to one idea,
and this is where things get very interesting.
So
we wake up and Matt is still traveling.
Yeah, so I was gonna say there's two corresponding stories on day 2. You guys have to tell like your side first.
We'll like bounce kind of a little bit back and forth.
Well, I was gonna start with Shed Aquarium.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what we start with. In the morning, we're gonna see Matt.
Even before that, we wake up. I get out of the shower and Cisco comes. He's like sitting on the bed and he's like, Aiden. I'm like, what? What's that look for? He's like, Matt's not feeling very well. I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, so what? Like, is he going home? He's like, you're like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? What's he saying? He's like, well, he's coming still. I'm like, damn. I was like, so sad. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, is Matt okay? He's like, I think so. It's so sad.
You're making it talk like I'm stupid. I don't talk like that.
That's us.
You were direct. I'm like, Matt's telling me that he's like.
Yeah, I can picture it, bro. That's how Cisco talks when he gets like flustered.
You were just so sad. I was talking to you and I was like, damn, I'm feeling sad. I was so excited to have one less guy and more time with Cisco, and then.
I don't know if it was the morning. I could have sworn that was like nighttime.
No, it was
night.
No, it was morning. It was morning because we didn't hear from Matt that late at night. I swear it was the morning.
Yeah, I was texting you in the morning because I was traveling the whole time.
Yeah.
Shed Aquarium shout.
Yeah, so we went to the Shed Aquarium. As you may or may not have seen, I recorded literally every tank. I think I missed like maybe a dozen. So I'm probably gonna edit a video of literally every tank. We got some cool footage. I love fish. I love aquarium.
You said it this Shed Aquarium. I appreciate it. I love it.
Oh, for sure. I got like
nice footage.
I got some really good footage. I'm really happy.
You got some commercial worthy.
Oh yeah, like
some of those fish.
Yeah.
No, I'm super stoked. It was awesome. I'm a big fish guy. I haven't been to an aquarium since I was like really really little, and we were gonna go when we went to Boston, but it was too busy. We couldn't get in. So after all this like blue balling, all these years of waiting, I finally got to and just like got to see all these fish and just be immersed in this super super ambient environment, which was really really gorgeous. It was awesome. It was a good time with Cisco.
The aquarium's pretty great because they like do these displays to really immerse you into it.
Yeah,
like if you're in some like deep sea, they'll put like all this like coral decorations and stuff. Make you feel like you're in the environment.
Well, the part of the video where I set my camera up on the like on the side and someone walked in front, that's one of the most beautiful area. Like it's the huge like tank that's all up on the wall. It's probably like 12-foot ceiling. Like it's huge tank and it's all like coral design all around it. It was very 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 ambient. It was gorgeous. We had a lot of occasions. It was 2 occasions where I set up my camera, and every time I did, someone walked by, and it made for a really really funny thing. It was awesome.
Yeah, they just didn't see the camera and they just got in front of it.
But that was the best part.
All you see is like...
I would have been more embarrassed if they were like super aware of the camera, but both people who walked by my camera did not even notice it, and that made it even funnier.
I got worried somebody was going to grab and be like, you consent to this. And then
it would have been funny.
bring that back.
Just like start slamming their head into the aquarium.
Yeah, I'm like, you want to see how jellyfish feel?
When I was filming, there was like a little I think it was like a mini manta ray or stingray tank. You remember the one? Yep. And it was like it's got like this like I didn't put a shot of the video, but it's kind of like this like you stand over it and it's got this whole like it's open top, but you also like stand on the floor. And this kid just fucking I'm recording this shot and this kid comes in full speed, like complete full speed, doom into the side of the tank.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
I remember you saying that.
I'm like, what the hell? And the kid just looks up at me. He's like, he was just so phased. I'm like, oh, yeah, the kid's a little trooper. He didn't start crying. He probably like walked to his mom. His mom's like, what happened?
I saw him cry later.
Yeah, see,
I was just confused.
He was probably so like dazed, and he was just like, what just happened?
Full sprint at the tank. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. He wanted to go for a swim. He wanted to catch himself a stingray.
He was adamant on like it was hilarious. It was so loud. I was like, damn, is there an earthquake in here or something?
Yeah, it was a loud bang. That was funny.
Yeah, no, that was cool. It was a great time. And right around this time, Matt was arriving, and we were starting to make our way out of the aquarium, and Matt was arriving. And Matt, you can talk a little bit there, and then we can bounce back to what was also happening on our side at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So like this was around where the trip really started getting a little bumpy. The first real major challenge we had. So while they were waking up, I had like a really early flight. I think I left Boston at like 7 a.m. And then I'll save you guys all the details. But when I had a layover in DC, and that's when I had texted Cisco. So you guys are probably still at his grandma's house. And man, I ain't ever feel worse in my life, boys. I didn't think I was gonna make it. Luckily, I got a homie that lives in DC, so I was texting Cisco. I was like, man, this trip might not happen. I might have to just crash here because I'm ready to pass out. But I fought, bro. You know what I thought of when I was getting on the escalator in Boston? I was like, this is for Aiden and Cisco. And I fought my way in, man. I fought my way to that plane. So I finally make it. I land in Chicago. I call them, and they're leaving Shed Aquarium. And I'm confused. Cisco can vouch for this. I had to find a whole maze to like the bus zone at O'Hare. That thing is so hidden for no reason,
Dude,
no good reason at all.
The whole airport is like
the whole airport's
too
just confusing
for no reason. Like,
no reason at all.
I was like, when I was like leaving, I could smell food, and I'm like, where? And I was like, literally
and
running,
it's like 18 miles away.
I was running laps. I was like, where?
But yeah, so I land in O'Hare. I give them a call. They're leaving Shed, and I head to the aquarium. And I think I'm gonna pause my story there because now on their side, some shit goes down. So
yeah. We I wanted to see the stingray tank. I was like, yeah, the stingray tank. So Cisco graciously takes me to the stingray tank. He records. You see the clip. I was like, this is cool. I've never touched a stingray. Well, the stingray tank led right to the exit where Cisco, grand reveal. What did we discover? What did we discover?
So we're like, all right, cool. That's the exit. Let's go. And then I see an empty block, which was originally full of cars. And we're walking, and I'm like, I parked here. And we keep walking, and I'm like, my car's gone. My car's gone. Like, what happened? And yeah, I got towed. And I've never been towed before. And to make it even worse, like, we were trying looking it up in the system to see if maybe it got taken to, the car tow place. And it was, like, not in the system, so it probably just, like, recently got towed. And I was freaking out because I was like, should I call the police? I don't know where to go. And I have this issue where when T-Mobile and Sprint merged, this is actually a funny story because this happened a couple days ago. So my phone, they've been cutting my service because I've never like upgraded my phone or something. Then I don't know, T-Mobile just never told me that I was supposed to just swap out a SIM card for one they sent me. They never told me that they sent me SIM cards to swap out. But I've been saying it. I'm like, we need a new SIM card. We need a new SIM card. My mom's the one who like holds our family account, so I can't really do anything with it. Later on, she's like, oh, is this what that is? Full stack of like all these SIM cards, and I'm like, Mom, yes, that's it. Now my phone is fixed, but they were cutting my service so bad I couldn't even call the police. That's how bad my service was.
Yeah.
That's how bad they were cutting it. And so I couldn't call anybody for help.
Which like
Aiden didn't have to help me out trying to get in contact.
Which is
we eventually saw some police officers on their bikes. They usually around the city we have officers just kind of patrolling on bikes and stuff. So I went up to them. I was like, "Yo, I don't know what to do," and then they kind of gave us information. It's like $175. Get your car back. It's like in the super like extremely hidden area that's impossible to get to. If you have a car, you're not getting there. Like it's like impossible to get there. You have to like go by foot. It's weird. It was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had to make our way there. I called my mom. I told her, hey, so this is my situation. She was like, I can literally show up and pick you guys up and take you around. And I'm like, yeah, can you get my like cash? And so she picked us up, and then we were like, she took us. It was really hard to find, but we found the towing place, and we're in there trying to get my car back. And this man over here is trying to record in there. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is America. You die.
I'm over here like full tourist mode. Look at these funny moments. Just like, Cisco was like,
yeah, I was like,
I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, whoops, my bad.
Disciplining his child.
Whoops, my bad.
But yeah, no. So it was really bogus. I paid $25 for parking. What had happened? Why did I get towed? Well, it's all a bunch of bullshit. So what happened was I have recordings as well. Ooh, I have to contest that ticket. I forgot about that. We all over our area, there was like signs that says don't parking, but it said for July 2nd. It was like June 30th. So I was like, okay, we're good. And some fucking tree, like some tree in the distance. I read multiple signs because I know maybe there's multiple dates. So I was looking at multiple signs. They all said July 2nd. And I was like, okay, I guess they're all the same then. So then when we're checking it, I'm like, it says July 2nd. It says July 2nd. It says July 2nd. We finally, in some tree, find, June 30th. I'm like, that's not fair. I'm like, what the heck? So I had to pay $20. Yep.
Well, especially not when it should be on the pay. Like, it should restrict you from parking. It should that information should have been where you pay to park. Now I'd have to go search for it. This isn't the One Piece. We're not looking to look for tickets. That information should have been right up in front. Like
exactly. It's like I got completely set up. And I'll tell you one thing: you guys will ever want to come to Chicago, don't. I'm oblivious, and even I'm seeing how freaking corrupt my city has become. It is really bad here. Don't come here. Like that was a small taste of like what it was, and I'm realizing now that the system in the city, especially, is like super against you. It's doing everything they can to just get any little penny of you. Like our taxes are just being pocketed up, and they're not saying zip about it. Like it's crazy. So they just completely set me up. Like, and I know I'm not the only one. Like I know because we went there. We went to the toll place, and people were saying I was at the shit aquarium, I was at the planetarium, or whatever. I got towed. And they're like, the sign didn't say today. It said, a different date. And they're, and then like the way it works is the toll places will be like, don't care, pay up, or we'll like send your car to a, junk yard where they can part it. So it's like you got like 3 days to get this car back, or like you'll never see your car again. And like we're closing, so it's like, oh my gosh. So it's like you have to get your car back, and so you got to pay up that money, but they're separate from the city of Chicago, so. You can't be like, I'm gonna sue you or something like they cover each other's tracks. So there's like no way of like fighting back. So I get my car back. So it's $25 plus the $175 I had to pay to get my car back. I see my car. There's a fat old ticket on it for $100 for not paying for parking, which I clearly did. And I was like, why? Like this is such BS. I'm trying to contest it, but knowing how city Chicago is, they can do whatever they want. There ain't nothing the citizens can do to fight back. Like you're not gonna do anything. They're gonna say, "Too bad, so sad. Pay up that." In fact, here's another ticket for even trying to contest that. Like, so my god, freaking city. Dude.
80s, bro.
No, that was brutal.
Lord Lightfoot, get out of my city.
Well, the best part too, because like the way we told the story, it sounded like it happened quickly. No. We got out of the aquarium at 2:00, and we didn't get to Cisco's car till like 5:30. Yeah,
it was like 6:00 by the time we finally got out there.
Which is crazy. And so, like, obviously this whole time, because the best part is, we don't actually know that Cisco's car is at the towing place. We don't know that for sure. That's the best part. So, and obviously we went for Cisco's grandma's, and we were going to the aquarium, then the hotel to meet Matt. So all of our stuff was in Cisco's car.
Mm-hmm.
That means my passport, my wallet, all of my stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna be verbally stressed in front of Cisco because I could already tell how much stress Cisco was. And I'm just like, it's gonna be okay, Cisco, and I'm over here just like in my head like, my fucking passport. Like, all right, here I am. I wanted to be an American citizen one day. I guess it's the fast track to that one.
Today's the day.
Today's the day. American citizen. I was like, oh yeah. But no. It ended up like I couldn't say it went smoothly. We didn't end up seeing Matt till like 8 o'clock at night. It was
we saw you super late.
It was crazy.
Devastating.
And of course, that's not the best part. Obviously, Matt's not feeling well, so
yeah, everything was just not lining up well. All right, I guess I'll jump back to my side. So yeah. So I got on the bus. You guys were leaving the aquarium. You get towed and all that. I make it to the hotel. So I haven't really explained, but if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about when I say I wasn't feeling good, it's like pretty much the best way to sum it up. Long story short, picture being high, but you don't want to be high. But you're just high anyways, and it's just all day. So that's how I'm feeling basically. So I'm just out of it. I'm like, oh, pretty colors. And I go to the hotel, and I'm like, okay, I need food because I'm tripping right now. So I get some soup, and I'm eating soup, and then that's when I get the message. Cisco says, guys, I got towed. I don't know what to do. And bro, I think I'm tripping. I'm like, my eyes are like touching my phone. I'm like, I'm hallucinating right now. There's no way. And an hour goes by. I'm like, okay, I'll take a nap. So I go up to the lobby. I'm taking a nap. I wake up. An hour's passed. 2 hours pass by. 3 hours pass by. 4 hours pass by. I'm like, am I supposed to be here? Am I at the wrong hotel? What's going on? I had like some girl come up to me. She was like, oh, sorry, I thought you were sleeping. I don't know what that was all about. 5 hours go by. Now I'm getting antsy. I'm like, okay, something's wrong. So I go take a walk around the convention center because for those that don't know, the hotel is like connected to the convention center, blah, blah, blah. So I'm walking around, talking to people. I sound stupid. I'm like slipping up on my words. And then it gets to like hour 6 and I'm like, okay. Now I'm getting kind of like, not annoyed, but I'm just like, I need to do something. Like, I gotta get out of here. And then Nate calls me, the fourth man in this equation, and he's asking what we want to do. And Cisco and Aiden are still out, and I'm like, bro, this is too overwhelming right now. What's going on? I think we hit hour 7. Like, I think we hit 7 hours of me just waiting at this hotel. And then the savior, Tyrone, pulls up with Cisco and Aiden, and it was history from there. Yeah. So you guys may have some holes to fill in on your end.
I mean,
not really.
No, we just had to bounce around a bunch to finally get the hotel. It was just like, the more so, it just took a shit ton of time more than anything, which is just shitty because I felt so bad because Matt's like dying to get into this hotel room and like get some rest.
That was the thing, bro. I was like, because I felt homeless. I was like, I can't check in because the room's under Cisco's name.
I know, so
and
sad.
It was rough. I just remember vividly getting to the hotel around like 1, and you guys were like, oh, we're running late. It's gonna be like around close to 3 or 4, and I was like, damn, this is gonna be a while. And then like 4 hours after that, I'm like, damn, I'm still waiting.
That's so bad. Because the thing is, we left the car towing place around like 6 o'clock, but that I still needed like an hour to just get to my house so we could drop off the car, and then I don't know, we had to figure out a way to get to the hotel, whether it was Uber or what. But I hit up my friend Tyrone, who met last on the first Chicago trip. Tyrone's a good buddy of mine, really close friend, and I just like, bro, I need a favor, man. Like, can you take us there? I'll give you like money and stuff. And he picked us up and took us there. Well, while we waited and all that, Aiden got to like see Chico and
the sauna attic.
Yeah, your sauna attic.
Yeah, you got to be up here. Now you guys understand why like this place is so hot. I can't be up here.
It's insane.
Like, it sucks because summer is usually when I can like, I have all the free time to do all the content, but it is so hot up here. I can't make content. Like, it's impossible.
It's no joke. I refuse to clown him anymore after you experience it yourself.
It's boiling. Like, it's like actually like you walk up there and it's like, it's like how don't you like how you like describe like an intense aura from like a manga or something. You're just like, oh, holy shit! Like, I'm intimidated. Like,
there's so much. This up.
It's like literally like heat wave, the Pokemon move. Like,
it's so inhumane. Like, you cannot be up there.
And people are constantly asking to rent this attic. They're like, oh, there's an attic up there. Please, can I move in? And I'm like, you're gonna die.
I think I think you would see like burnt chicken wings walking around. Like what?
Yeah, I was in there for all of 4 minutes, and then I was ready to head out ASAP.
There's a clip of me where I was trying to record something, and I was clearly just like finding it so hot in there. I was like clearly disoriented. I was just like, it's hot. It's really hot in here, and I'm like the way I'm like dropping the camera down, and it didn't even make it to the vlog. It just made no sense.
I can only imagine the horror if like the door gets stuck one day. Like I'd be out that window. Like I am not even gonna contemplate trying to fix the door or anything.
Or when N10 is launching a big event and you need clips and you gotta put on a coat for one of the clips.
That's true.
And there's no AC.
Yeah.
See, I would have clowned him back in the day, but now I'm gonna be like, you know what? I get it.
Set up a Kickstarter to get Cisco a proper cooling unit, like an actual polar bear that just like shits ice for him or something, something like that. It's crazy.
Made of ice.
Well, okay, that's too luxurious. We'll just get something probably more like insane.
Just buy its own dedicated like AC in the window.
Nah, that makes too much sense. Probably like a polar bear.
But now we don't have to go from side to side because now we are united.
Yes,
we are officially at the con.
We made our 2-year time skip. The crew is back together.
So it is Thursday night, right? That happened.
Yeah, so it was around 8 o'clock.
It's Thursday night. The con starts Friday morning. So here we are.
Quick shout out to Giordano's with Nate.
Yeah, we had a great dinner with Nate. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. I finally got to meet Nate for the first time. Yeah, we literally got to the hotel, dropped off our stuff, and Nate's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
That's where I was getting crazy. I was like, way too much was happening at one time. Like Nate was like ready to go, and I was like, "They just got here, man."
Just dropped us off. We had just got into the hotel, and then Nate's like, "I'm here," and
we're entering the hotel room, and he's sitting outside the hotel. I was like, "Okay, time to go, guys."
Yep. Yeah, no, it was crazy. Just everything that Thursday was insane. Like, I think there was a point where I had just gotten we had just gotten the car, and I was like, Cisco, do you want to try to figure out what to do? And just, like, everything going on, I was like, you know what? We'll sit down first before we actually figure out what we're going to do. Where our heads are going to start spinning. Like, they already are. They're going to spin off of our heads, like tops.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So we got to have, we went to Giordano's, which is, like, really, they have the famous Chicago deep dish.
Yeah.
So you guys had deep dish. What do you guys think of Chicago's deep dish pizza?
It was crazy. Like, it's like literally just a slice is like more than I could ever imagine. Like food. Like, I was stuffed off of one slice. I was like, holy shit. I mean, I also had a lot of wings, but like,
yeah, this man was downing those wings.
Yeah.
Do you know I found out why our bill was so expensive? Those wings are $20 each.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you got 2 orders.
Wings. It's only like 10 wings,
which is also awful. Wings like in restaurants like that are just you're gonna get nailed on them.
Yeah, that was rough. But deep dish is always a must. That's like anyone traveling to Chicago first time or even just a returning visitor. Got to get deep dish at least once.
That's so
Chicago tradition.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Yeah, no. And then we did the con bright and early the next morning. Cisco shaved it all off so he could become Sakamoto from Sakamoto Days.
Yes.
Such commitment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we've been planning this for months about me and Aiden cosplaying Sakamoto Day characters. And I went through with it. The worst thing was we had this dye to dye my mustache white. I didn't think about this. My mustache is dark. I shouldn't have gotten gray because then it's just going to be a dark gray. It should have been white, so then it becomes like gray. I didn't think of that. I
actually didn't think white was an option, so I was just like, oh, gray makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, no, it should have been white. And to make it worse, I swear it probably gave me cancer or something. So because dude, I was putting it on my mustache. Like all these fumes are going straight into my nostrils. Like I just shaved, so everything's burning. It was horrible. It's like a photo where I have like all these napkins to cover my airways, so I can't even breathe. And then Aiden's just.
Yeah, they did it like
horrible.
We got one video clip and a couple pictures because I was like, this has to be documented. But even before I documented it, they already had done like 2 sessions of like attempting to spray it on. So this man, he tried to fight through it, but in the end, he succumbed to the pain.
It was bad.
And I don't blame you. Like, just like even smelling that, and I was the person spraying, I was like, holy shit, that's strong. That's like really, really strong.
It's horrible.
That was a great way to start.
I think we would have been better off getting like fucking paint and just painting it on.
Yeah, right. Like
there's like body paint and shit, so I'm sure it works on the hair.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That would have been way better.
We didn't know we were
better.
We didn't know we were spraying. It also said do not spray onto the face or like skin. So I'm sure.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
too late.
And you were I read it. I was like, oh shit! It says don't spray it on the face or skin. And you were like, Oh, okay. I was like, oh okay, all right. Cisco's gonna come back in a week.
$5 can of hairspray. Yeah, probably did something to me. Since the con, I can't. I'm having like I don't know what it is, but I cannot rest well. I will sleep for 8 hours and wake up extremely exhausted. Like something happened to me, but yeah,
it's the spray.
Spray like gave me a disease.
Watch out, Party City! You get a lawsuit on your hands coming up.
Yeah, no. But yeah. So then we're starting the con. So we're going right downstairs. We're in our cosplays, and we get in line, and there's all these people. So many cosplayers.
Hold on, I got a cute little story before we jump into the actual con. So Cisco obviously had to shave his entire beard, and so that took like a couple hours. Like I think we got up at like 10, and we didn't get out the door till about noon, which was fun. Me and Matt would. Because of the way our hotel was set up, you could see to the lobby, and a lot of people, like, just because of how connected it was, a lot of cosplayers were immediately in the lobby. So me and Matt are sitting there, pointing, like, oh, it's that character. Oh, I know that character. Is that character? I think that's who it is. And we're sitting there, and then Cisco's like, oh, can you guys give me another razor or something? And we're like, yeah, sure. Or, like, you want like a real, not an electric one. So, yeah. So I went downstairs to the little gift store, and we were like, okay, cool. I went around, and I'm picking it out. And the way it was set up, it was kind of almost like I was like equivalent with behind the counter, and I was like grabbing the stuff. And some dude at the little hotel store turns to me and he goes, "Get back!" Or he said, "What did he say?" It was like, "Oh, I'm going on break now. I'll be right back."
Yeah.
And I was like, the fuck? And then I looked down, and he looks down at me, and he goes, "Oh, I thought you worked here because it's my cosplay. Yeah. I was just wearing a green apron," and I was like, "Nice."
Yeah, you thought you worked there. Like, yeah,
just a cute little story. And then we went on to the con, and we went to a great little line. A great line.
It was this line that made no sense. It was like
an ugly
what's that
snake.
Game? Centipede or something.
Centipede, yeah.
It was not a shape
that
made any sense for people.
That was at least a half-hour line.
And to find out that was just for the COVID, so they could put a stamp that immediately washed off.
Then they didn't check for the next day, which is
they stopped checking because it was too complicated. Yeah. So dumb. But we got our badges and we walk in, fellas. What did you think when you saw? Like, what was you first walk in? You see all these vendors and cosplayers right off the bat. It's from experience and from like friends I have brought. It's always pretty overwhelming and like it's like a lot at once. What do you guys think?
Any con, especially like a brand new con, because I've done my share of cons at this point, right? And every time I step into a con, it's always overwhelming, but most especially when it's brand new. Brand new environment, brand new venue, all new vendor, especially because I'm not in Canada anymore. A lot of the same vendors I'll see won't be there, not commonly. So it was just like a whole new world for me, completely brand new. Nothing similar from any other con. So it was like, it was very overwhelming, always. And then you're just immediately like, you don't know where to look. You don't know where to go. Cons are crazy like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the state I was, it was entirely overwhelming, but that was like a voice crack there. I tried to play it off. It didn't work.
It happened.
It was entirely overwhelming. It was entirely overwhelming in the state I was, but at the same time, I think a cool point was, and you guys may remember, like over the trip, I was like, I remember that vendor. I had just been at Anime Boston like a month or two prior, and this trip almost felt like it was just picking right back up, because I'm starting to notice that all these anime cons have a lot of the same vendors, same vibes, same cool people, just good vibes. So it's really cool. It was almost like I was picking back up where I left off.
Yeah.
But as Aiden said, it was my first ever Anime Midwest. It was really cool for me because I had actually just rewatched Cisco's like Anime Midwest vlog from like years ago, and I was like, "Yo, I recognize the little sign when you first walk in," and they had the big Pikachu at one point on Sunday, and I was like, "That's from his thumbnail." And yeah, it was really cool. It was just a great first impression. I was like, "This is gonna be a good time." 3 whole days of this.
That was great.
So the first day, we mostly did the vendors the first day.
Yeah, there wasn't many cool things to buy. There wasn't. It was like
this man
bought half the venue.
I would not do any such thing. Jeez,
bro. Not only did he drop money, he dropped money on day one. That was like 80% of his purchase.
Well, day one is when they have
the best,
all, like,
the best day to buy.
Stuff.
Yeah. And especially
you'd also think like it's the day where it's like, okay, I'm gonna scout around and then buy later. But this man was like on site. He was like $100, easy money.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay.
No, I was sad because we got there a little bit late, and there was like, and I was like, I always know to buy day one, and then if there's like, when it gets to the point where there's things you're not sure, then you buy day 3 because then they might get you a deal. They're easy to haggle, and so I obviously bought my rare things. Like I found one Gintama figure, and so I was like, I'm not waiting on that. That's gonna go like easy. Like there's enough fans for Gintama, but I'm gonna be the only one, and also that was proven later. But we went to a manga, like one of the manga shops, and we came in late, and so like I mean it wouldn't have mattered anyways, and we struggled to find it. We dilly-dallied, we got there, and he had all these old manga out of print series and stuff, and so immediately my first question to Utter is, do you have Gintama? Because I'm missing 2 volumes for a complete set, and he's like, we had. I'm like, you had all of them? He's like, we had all of them. I'm like, fuck. He's like, the second the doors open, they were gone. I'm like, God damn it. But that's just gonna be my luck. I'm gonna be chasing that till the day I die. But it's just like, yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't mind going in and getting stuff right away because stuff like that just goes instantly. Like where like if you see the same Demon Slayer figure, you're gonna see the same one all weekend. But like some more niche stuff, it'll go fast.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I after the towing and everything, my budget was so small. Like I just could not really spend money on anything, and I was already coming into this like whole thing broke, because like just sparing all the details, but essentially I had quit my job and I'm back in school, and you know how it is when you're and then the economy crashes, like just everything that could attack my wallet happened, and then like bad luck like this, like in the same 2 weeks it was like a $500 laptop fix I had to do. Then it was this towing, like it was just back to back, and I was like, so I can't really buy much. I still bought a decent amount of things, but I think what I loved was we went into Artist Alley. That's when it gets dangerous, when you get into the Artist Alley. And there was this girl who was for $5 she was doing full-on commissions. You tell her a character you want, and for $5 she sketches it, not color and ink. Sketching it, pencil. And so I was like, that's a steal. Some people might not know. If you don't know that that's a steal, that means you're not an artist. That is a crazy steal. So I was like, yes, please. So I was like, can I get Rosalina? This lady gonna be like, Rosalina, okay, what's the expression? I'm like, smiling with a little bit of blush. So I got it. She's like, I'll text you when it's done. And oh my gosh, she gave me the most like amazing Rosalina art. I was so happy. I was like, I was giggly the whole time. Like these guys can let you know. I was like staring at
there was like points where like we were like sitting in the hotel room later, and he's just sitting there on the bed, and he's like
giggling.
I wasn't kissing it.
And when I'm like, Cisco, what are you doing? He's like,
no, he's lying.
It's 3 a.m. Like, he wakes me up from my slumber, and he's just idolizing over Rosalina.
He's like, he's on the bed.
They're lying. They're not.
Rosalina.
No.
Oh,
I was just looking at it a lot because I thought it was so cute. Anyways,
so cute we couldn't get any goddamn sleep, Cisco.
Yeah, so mean to me. Well, I think the viewers get the point that the 3 days of the con definitely kind of merged together. There's moments that we'll probably want to talk about, but it's just a lot of vendors, shopping, spending a lot of money, and not even just on merch, but also food. I know the waters everywhere you looked were $4 a bottle.
$5 for any water bottle was $5.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the hotel room was $4. That's right. Everything else was $5.
Well, no, that little lobby at the bottom.
That was all
I bought
$5.
2 water bottles and an iced tea. it came up to $13. I was like,
shit was
what?
expensive.
It was
We
ugly.
had water in the room, and we thought it was complimentary. And then after I take a sip, Aiden brings to my knowledge that it's $4 per bottle.
It said complimentary, and then like in really small like fine print, $4. And I'm reading this thing
It
as
was
Matt's
too late.
guys, and I'm like,
Oh.
oops.
Chicago is so corrupt.
And Cisco is on the phone or something. We're like, we're not gonna tell him
We're
until
not gonna
the
tell
trip's
Cisco.
over.
Yeah, we're not gonna tell Cisco. You're gonna slip him a $4 at some point in the trip, and that'll be it.
But we had leftover deep dish, and nobody wanted to eat it. So I
Oh
was like, it
no!
was just like these cold blocks of cheese, and I was like, I've never had cold deep dish. I'm gonna just give it a shot, and I was like gnawing on it. Hey, I thought it was pretty good.
You
If
guys-
you're hungry. There's no food at the con.
You guys won't understand unless you're ever rooming with Cisco or on a trip with him. But this dude has the weirdest eating schedule ever. It could be
What?
4 a.m. and this dude would be gnawing on a deep dish frozen pizza, bro. This dude would be eating at any moment, anytime. It's normal dinner time, and I'm begging these two. I'm like, guys, can we please get food? They're like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, but I kind of want to be with you guys. And then we get to the room. It's like 2 a.m. and this dude just gnawing on a hunk of cheese. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
I
Oh my
did
God.
not eat the deep dish in the morning.
Yes,
I
you
ate
did. You
Dude,
ate
it
it
was
as
late.
well.
It was at least like 10 o'clock at night. And we're like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
it
are you
was
doing?
before we went to the rave, so it was like like 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't even morning.
That's also the craziest thing ever.
Still
Is in this
crusty.
sentence, is you justify it by we were going to the rave. You want a block of cheese like that bouncing around in your stomach, and you're in this
For
rave.
those that
Everyone's
don't-
like,
yeah.
hey, it's just, and all
I
you
was
see is
like-
the deep dish going.
It's not like I ate a whole pizza. I ate a freaking slice.
Bro,
Like,
it's a thick
Dude,
slice
it's
of
a huge-
pizza, bro.
yeah, but like if you're exercising the entire day, like you're walking everywhere, we're getting no rest. Like, because we never really sat down. We sat down for like a minute, and Aiden's like, "Come on, let's keep going." I'm like, okay. my feet, but like. You know, so like we
That's the
we
con
walked that
life, baby.
entire morning till night. Like we were walking, and so we finally get into the hotel, and I'm like, yeah, screw it. Like I haven't eaten. All I had for the whole day was like a pretzel, and I didn't even eat the whole pretzel and a beer. So I was like, I'm gonna have this slice of pizza. I'm not gonna throw it out. These boys love wasting food. You can
No,
criticize me all you want, but Matt, he'll take a nibble and he'll just throw like a $20 platter in the
that's so
garbage
cap.
can.
I was eating
No,
good
no,
on
no,
this
no, no.
trip.
And Aiden will like he'll do the same thing. He'll just be like, I don't really like it. Toss it in the garbage. I'm like, boy.
Aiden did that. No,
Waste-
No,
man.
okay. No. See, I would have such a guilty conscience, so I was like, do you guys want this food? Because then I'm like,
Oh,
then
that's why I had
it's
a plate
off
and a
my
half.
conscience, and I'm like, at least somebody enjoyed the meal.
No, they played very well in my favor for Mitsuya. I was like, it's like
Just
giving a
feeding
food
Cisco.
nibble?
Yeah.
So was it Saturday when we went to
Mitzvah?
Mitsuya?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday
We
was a
went to- yeah.
good day because I was coming back to health. We had done was Saturday the maid cafe. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had done a maid cafe, which was an experience. We can talk on
Definitely.
that. But then, yeah, we met up with Nate again, hit Mitsuya, and then after all that, we're dead tired. But we're like, let's go to the rave again. And there was a show before that, which we probably should have mentioned. But
about
after
it?
that show, yeah, there was a rave. So there was the second rave.
We gotta
And
talk. Yeah, there's so many things to talk about.
There's just like there's so much, guys.
There's-
That's
I
why I
was
was
gonna
like,
talk about Mitsuya, but he just like.
We got-
did
I'm
Mitsuya
sorry,
and kept
there's, like,
going,
so much
kept going. I was
stuff.
like, wait, no, I'm going out to the Mitsuya to walk.
but is
So
there anything
Mitsuya
before
is like a Japanese
Mitsuya?
market that's like it was like 20 minutes out,
Yeah.
and they sell like Japanese manga. Everything's imported from Japan, and Aiden
Well-
can get his shonen jump issues.
Yeah. So okay. So as long as I've known Cisco's like, oh, I've got this place called Mitsuya, and I'm like, I've never heard of Mitsuya. And he's like, yeah, they're all over, and then they have you can get all the manga there, and I'm like, Mitsuya, that's crazy. And I've always had these conversations, and I'm always like, that kind of sounds like Kinokuniya. I always like, because I know the Kinokuniya is like the big store that gets like ported, and it's all this import. So I don't know. And like this conversation has happened before where people are like, oh, Cisco, you're talking about Kinokuniya. So every time he brings it up, it's Mitsuya, and I'm like, I've always wanted to go to Kinokuniya because they got all their manga. So we fucking walk in there, and I figured out the day before. We walk in there, and I'm like, oh, it's a Kinokuniya in this market called Mitsuya. I was mind blown because Cisco's like, oh, it's Mitsuya. It's just like this thing Chicago has, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it was a fucking Kinokuniya, which was super awesome. I was so excited.
Lots of good stuff in there.
I picked up not this one, but a Weekly Shonen Jump, which is super awesome. Especially like to like actually buy it and pay the $5 off of like a store shelf, which was just fucking awesome. I picked up some Japanese volumes that we haven't gotten yet. Witch Watch. Ooh. Yep. If you're a manga fan, manga panel podcast. But yeah, no, it was really cool to be in Kinokuniya, and then the Japanese market was really cool. Just they had a lot going on, lots of cool snacks. We got some drinks, and other drinks.
There was a food market. Most of it was closed. We couldn't get ramen, but my favorite ever pork cutlet bowl was there, and I was like, oh, it's been here the whole time. And we're just and then Matt drops the soup. Idiot. They give him his soup in a bag that's like sideways.
No,
and this man just flips it over.
Yeah, Matt was like, I wonder what this is. I'm like, what is it? It's not a cape, buddy. It's not a flag. He's like, what is this? And then before we knew it, the thing is, this is soggy bag. He's like,
no.
He literally goes, this is actually how it went. He goes, he sees this bag's wet, and he goes, why is this bag wet? Do you know what happens when a bag's wet? A paper bag? He lifts it, and it goes, flunk. The soup was all over the table. And we're like, and it's the whole, like, obviously it spills, and everyone's like, hey.
Nah, viewers, listen. These guys are taking advantage of my vulnerable state all trip along, all right?
No.
We're at Giordano's, and we have leftover pizza, and they hand me the box to put away the leftover pizza. I don't even have the brain capacity to lift up a fork. Yeah, they want me to package a pizza. So I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to slide the shit in, and they're all laughing at me, giggling nasty. And they have Mitsuha, the stupid people, they put my soup in sideways, so I go to lift up the bag and it's spilling everywhere, and I'm like, ah, shit.
Don't call people my soup that you don't know stupid bad. That's not very nice.
Yeah,
they're stupid. Only the person that packaged my soup. You're stupid. Your food was good. Your food was good.
No.
What else did you guys do? Now the worst one. I gotta get this out before I forget. Nah, this is going knows. This is the worst one. He was so mean to me. I'm sleepy, so I have no energy.
Okay, hold on. Let's back up because it makes it better. So it's like, so we finally, obviously the one night we finally arrived to the hotel. It'd been all day. We went out for dinner, and Matt's obviously out of it. So I'm like, me and Cisco were going to hang out in the room and talk because we had lots of energy still. And then I go, no, I feel bad. Let's turn off the lights. Let's leave the room and give Matt like an hour or two to sleep. And then we'll come back to the room at like 1 a.m. or something like that. And that's what we did. It was like we came back at like 2 a.m. That's what we did. We left the room at 12 and we came back at 2. And then me and Cisco were kind of like quietly talking, you know, like scrolling on your phone, going through TikTok. And Cisco was asking about water. We had bought some drinks and shit. We talked to the parent of a furry, which was a crazy experience, and we kind of did that, and we're like, yeah, it's time for bed. Let's get back to the hotel room now. And then we ran. We like a horror movie, running up the escalator. Like, the escalator is going down, and we're going up, and we're like punching the buttons, like, ah! And then we got up to the room, and we're like super quiet. You can hear like quiet little lullabies. We're like, doo doo doo, and we get into the room. We're being super quiet, and me and Cisco are like, psst, 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 psst. And it was like 3 a.m, and I'm like starting to fall asleep, and Cisco's like, does Matt have a water? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. He goes, then why the fuck I buy this guy water? And then he goes and opens the fridge, the way our fridge was set up was it was in a cupboard, and then the safe was above the cupboard. So every time you'd open or close the cupboard, the safe would slam against the thing because we weren't locking the safe, so we didn't need to, but the door would just be ajar. But then Cisco also wasn't closing the fridge door, so when he'd close the cupboard, he'd close it all 3 at the once. And he kept, he couldn't make up his mind of what he was taking out of the fridge. So he'd open it and then go, poof, and you'd hear, dum, dum, shh. And then he's like, oh, actually, I want the water. Open it, dum, dum, poof, poof, dum, dum. And I'm like, quiet, you're going to wake up Matt. And then all I hear, I'm sleeping right next to Matt, and all I hear is, what? And I'm like, Cisco, shut. He's over here like, what? I'm not being loud. Poof, dum, dum. I'm like, oh my god.
I kid you not, I woke up to the noise of like something dying 8 times. Like this dude just kept smacking that safe, bro. Oh man. No, was that Thursday night? Because I could have sworn it was Friday.
No, it was Thursday night. It was that first night.
Thursday night?
Yeah, because we left.
Yeah, it was one of the first nights. But yeah, it was brutal, man. I'm in a deep. Okay, no. But this makes it worse. So I'm in a deep sleep. I'm so cozy, bro. I'm sleeping good. And Cisco's just being obnoxious, just slamming this shit, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, guess I'm awake. And so now we start having the usual, boys, girls, anyone at a slumber party. You get that deep talk late at night. So we're having this deep talk, just having a good time. And then all of a sudden, I hear snoring. It's Cisco. The audacity of this dude wakes me up, so I'm wide awake, and then falls asleep mid-conversation. And now I get all this energy because, the conversation's getting juicy. And so I'm talking and talking. Cisco leaves us, and then Aiden goes, hey, I think I'm going to go to sleep. And so now I'm just laying there wide awake, and now they're sleeping. And I'm like, okay, well, this sucks.
Oh, this was the other night.
I thought you were... I was tired.
No, it was the other night. Okay, I thought you were talking about...
This is definitely Friday.
You were bring up the fridge
thing. Friday.
Yeah, this was Friday. This is the Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was the Friday
night. Slamming
night.
Was Thursday night.
I get up for the bathroom, go back. I cannot sleep because I'm wired. I'm good. I'm ready to chat. They're snoring. And I'm like, okay. Finally wake up, and it's Saturday, and, the rest was history. But I got my revenge Saturday night. I was slamming that safe good for Cisco.
Every day we had, like, I feel like every day at the con, there's 3 days at the con, and every single day somebody, like, had a bad day. Like, somebody was going through something. First day was Matt because he wasn't feeling good. The second day, I just got, like, it was probably, like, the mix of, like, all the stress I was having with the towing and everything, and, like, just walking around, and, like, I got, like, extremely exhausted. Like, I remember when we got to Mitsuwa, and I was waiting in line for the food, and it just hit me like a truck, and I'm like, holy shit, like, I need to sit down. My feet feel like they're about to snap. And I started, like, almost panicking. Like, that was the first time I wanted to act like a child and cry and be like, I don't want to be here. Oh, I'm tired. I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is horrible. And then I don't know, Aiden, you want to take away their Sunday?
Oh.
Yeah, I'll rapid fire the Sunday.
Aiden's downfall.
Because this was so I'd bought a lot. I was like, whatever. I packed, like, really, really tightly because I didn't want to deal with checked baggage, because apparently Air Canada and Pearson Airport has been losing a lot of luggage. I'm like, there's no way I'm risking it. So I'm just going to do carry-on. And I'd packed super securely and then immediately forgot, if I'm going to buy stuff, like, I don't have luggage. I'm like, if I buy a bunch of stuff, I'll just buy another piece of luggage. It's not the end of the world. Anyways, we weren't able to really get anywhere where I could get cheap luggage. So Sunday rolls around. And also, might I note, and I wanted to mention this earlier, that the Thursday, Cisco needed to use my phone. That was the only day that my roaming was working. T-Mobile, AT&T, no one else picked me up for the rest of the weekend. Because that's when I go to a foreign country, I have to roam and get picked up by a random company. T-Mobile was the only one that was working in our area, and they would not pick me up. So no service all weekend. Hotspotting off Matt, hoping the hotel Wi-Fi was working or was in reach. So it was a bit of a nightmare. Obviously, especially when you're in a foreign country, you have no phone. It becomes a little intimidating. Anyways, woke up. I had to phone my boss and pretend to be sick at 4 a.m, and then went back to sleep. And I was going to wake up bright and early at 9:30 to go to the mall. And that was when I was going to go get my luggage. And I would come back and we'd enjoy the rest of the day. We'd check out and enjoy the rest of the day at the con. We didn't wake up till 11. Cisco was in the shower, and I'm full panic mode. I'm now packing. I'm running around in my underwear, packing all my shit in my suitcase, and leaving immediately. And I was like, well, if we got to check it at 12, I guess I'm taking all this shit with me. So I checked my bag into the hotel, my one bag into the hotel, and then took my bag of figures and all the extra shit I bought. And I walked probably a couple miles down to this mall. And also, mind you, I was just guessing where this mall is because my phone's not working. So I was like, great. Also, the hottest day of the trip. It was like 36 degrees Celsius. I think it was like almost like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It was fucking boiling that day. I was like, nice. And of course, I have all my shit on me. So I'm walking down the street, got my jacket and my hoodie on, boiling, like literally burning alive. I can see the heat waves in the street. Get to this mall, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out where this luggage store is. I have to walk all the around literally did like a whole, it's like a giant circle mall. I had to do the whole fucking 360 of the mall, then find the store. I'm like, whatever. Get in the store. I buy a luggage. Put all my shit in it. I'm like, this is too small. Bring it back. Get another one. No problem with that. Also, it was July 4th sale on July 3rd. So I was like, you know what? That's a win. I'd bought a soda because it was so hot. And I was leaving and I'm like, yeah, I don't have the soda anymore. Be gone with it. Anyways, keep going. The journey goes on. And then I had bought a baggage tag. And I'm walking, and I go, I check my pocket, I get to phone Matt, try to see if I could phone him. Somehow the phone call just miraculously kind of went through, and I got a hold of Matt. And as I'm phoning Matt, I realized that I've lost the ticket to get my luggage that I left at the hotel. And I'm obviously just like, what the fuck? I think I'm going to have a heat stroke. I'm standing in the middle of Chicago. I'm like still like a little confused because I came out of a weird exit. I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm losing all my shit. And at some point, without me realizing, like I subconsciously put my Anime Midwest badge in my backpack. Then I go, I missed the badge. And it was after the phone call with Matt, and I walked all the way back. And I was like, oh, it's in my backpack. And then I'm just annoyed. I'm walking, and I'm like, I can finally see the convention center. I'm getting really close. I go to cross the street, and I'm waiting for the thing to go. I look down at my bag that I had just bought and go, cool. There's the string for the baggage tag. No baggage tag. All right. We keep going. And I was like, okay, finally. We got back. And by the time I got back to the the convention center, I had about an hour before I had to leave for my flight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just super disappointed, full panic mode already. And I was just like, whatever. I was super defeated. I was like, okay, like whatever. I'm just going to savor whatever I can get. Went around the con. We did one last victory rap. Enjoyed the last couple bit with the boys. And as you can see in the vlog, at the end of the vlog, I mentioned I had really bad luck and I bought these blind bag figures. I literally it was 1 in 6 odds. It was 1 in 6 odds. 5 of them, both on both of them. 5 of them I liked. And I was like, I feel safe. I literally got the ones I didn't like on both of them. I'm like, there's no fucking way in this world that there's no way. And I'm like, okay, do you know what? That's the end of the bad luck. It can't get worse than that. There's no way. Anyways, we go to catch the shuttle to get to the airport. And I pass my bags to this guy. And I'm like, you got it? And you take us to the airport? Yep, no problem. I'm like, you got it? And he said something, but it wasn't to me. There was another person who was standing behind me, so I immediately just didn't realize it was to me. Hopped onto the bus, he said something, and there was a family who'd come on just shortly after us, so I was like, oh, I just assumed he was talking to them. They got off, and we're waiting. It was like 15 minutes before the bus started going. And he gets on, he goes, what are you doing here? I'm like, going to the airport. He's like, oh. He's like, did you give me bags? Yeah? Yeah, I did. He's like, oh, I put them on the other bus. The bus that left 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, he's like, you're on the wrong bus.
I'm like, there's no fucking way. Anyways, miraculously, he calls the guy. He calls the guy who had the other bus, and he's like, can you wait at, like, Air Canada? And he did. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, my fucking bags are gone. This dude does not have my bags. There's no way I'm finding these bags. There's no way I'm getting them back. And I'm just like, okay, this is the last bus ride with my friends. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh, it was a fun trip, guys. I get to go home right now with no stuff. Yay! I thankfully got there and the guy was waiting very graciously and gave me the bags. And I was like, okay, that's the end of it. That's definitely the end of it. Anyways, no, it wasn't. I paid for a checked bag, and then they because all the flights are busy now because they opened no requirement for rapid testing. So every flight is busy. They're like, we don't have enough room. Check your bag. And I'm like, fuck's sake, no one is checking their bag. All right, I check in my bag. I get on the plane, and immediately, right above my seat, is perfect open space with more than enough to fit 2 of my suitcase. And I'm like, cool. And at no point did that space get utilized during that flight. And I'm like, great. Anyways, then my second flight got delayed and I arrived at Calgary at about 2 in the morning when I was supposed to get there at about 12. So, yeah, it was a great string of a Sunday. And I was like, you know what? I'm alive and I'm home. And I had originally planned to drive home that night. Like, I'd get off of the airport and then drive the 3 hours to get home. And I was like, you know what? I have such bad luck. Tonight's going to be the night that a thunderstorm picks up my car and a tornado picks my car off and I get sent into the valleys and I die. Or a 15 elk come and decide to fight my car, not run in front of the street. They decide to fight it. Or Google takes me in the wrong turn and I lose service and I'm in the middle of the prairies by myself with no service. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take my chances and I'm gonna crash at a friend's house tonight. And that was the end of my journey. Very insane Sunday.
That's how I was feeling with the whole towing. Like it was just like you're trying to make the most of it. You're trying to put on a smile,
Yeah.
You just can't. You're just like,
Yep.
oh.
And it's always like, and it was the worst too because it's always the sun. It's like always your last day. You always just dread it, like you're going home. This joy that you have, and like obviously it's always we always bring it up, but it's like N10 trips and always any vacation is a break from reality, and it's just knowing that these are my last few minutes before I'm smashed back into reality again, and I have to go back to work and work 12 hours a day.
You gotta wait at least a year before you get to see the guys again.
And I'm like, ouch. Yeah. And it was definitely a big sting in the back, but it was overall it was an amazing trip. I had such a good time. It was so worth coming out. I'm sure we all share the same sentiment, even though most of this podcast was just talking about the negatives of the con, the cons of the con, but there was a lot of pros. There was a lot.
I think it's good because I feel like viewers, at least in our N10 community, and I feel like usually our N10 community watches this. That's shining some light that our trips aren't perfect. Because God knows, and I know that some people be looking at these N10 trips and be like, that sounds like a dream come true. It sounds like heaven. I want it to happen. I'll let you know, N10 trips are not perfect. There has been fights, arguments, or not. Yeah. Same thing. We've had bad luck. All that sort of thing happens. Like N10 trips are not perfect. There's always something insanely crazy, something bad that happens on our trips. Yeah. But we make the most of it and we communicate and we work together, and that's what makes the trips really good.
Yeah.
So
obviously,
for people who are watching and being like, these trips look like such great times, they are. A lot of bad things happen too.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta earn the good times.
Oh, for sure, absolutely, and we definitely did. And also, just a small piece of advice for all travelers as the world opens up again. If you're thinking about traveling, make sure you are 110% prepared, but not just prepared to do this trip, but prepared for the worst. Prepare for things to go awry, always in your life, but especially when you're traveling, when you're in a place where you're not used to it. Be aware of your surroundings, and also just things might go wrong. You might miss that train. You might miss that Uber. You might miss your flight. You might lose your bags, kind of. Just be aware. Always take precautions.
Someone else's bag.
Remember to screenshot that ticket.
Road trip.
Ooh, screenshot your tickets. Definitely.
Always if you, especially if you get your luggage tagged or whatever, make sure you have copies of everything. That's like my biggest recommendation. Have everything saved. But yeah, no. Enjoy your trips. Safe travels.
Always look past.
Fun too. Always always, because if you're like, this trip should cost about $500. I have about $550 in my pocket. I'm good to go. No, you don't. You better have emergency money. Like,
yep.
I have credit cards. So obviously, like, when something like happened, like the towing or like all those bad things would happen, I'm like, this is gonna destroy my budget. Credit card, like, it's like, because you got a budget, and like, if you're just like, this trip should cost about $300, I'm bringing $300. No.
yeah.
One of my first trips I did that, to New York for Smash Brothers. It was like the first ever N10 trip, and I remember I showed up with like barely enough. I left home with like $20 in my pocket. I got home and I was like,
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. But no, it was a good time.
Yeah, good. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. No, I was just gonna say I've been using this term a lot in like a lot of like chats recently, but like you gotta look past the Disney World effect. It's like everyone always was thinking about, I'm finally going here. I'm gonna finally see this person. We're gonna do this, and this, and this. I can speak from experience after the road trip, after Paxies, you name any N10 trip. I can tell you that not one thing went perfectly according to schedule. There's so many things that will be booked out. You can't do it. You miss something. This one dude's fighting with this guy. Like, there's always something. There's always something. And, a lot of people don't prepare for it. I always say the best example is when families bring their little kids to Disney World. It's not ideal. You got heat, you got lines, you got expensive ass prices. Like, always gotta look at both sides for any trip you do, whether it's a week-long trip, a day trip, anything. Always, really try to prepare for the worst. Definitely prepare for the worst. Not to scare you all, but also to prepare you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I remember the whole road trip. Oh
my God. We were not. Okay. I will say, for the scale that trip was, we definitely pulled off something crazy. But We were not prepared in the slightest for what it actually was.
There was a lot
it was
of
brutal.
problems
It was
with
brutal.
that trip. A lot of things because we just thought we're going to be cruising on the road again, and we're going to be picking up N10 members, and we're going to be like, woo! That's not what happened. We're like, we were supposed to be there 2 hours ago. You two back there, stop fighting! Like, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, oh, we can't have a second delay. I have to use the bathroom. It's like, no. There's always something happening. Roaches in the bathroom. Oh god, don't even get me started. But overall, it was fun. It was an experience, and it made me stand taller because of that. But oh man,
it's crazy time. It's crazy time.
Oh man, N10 man.
Ooh. But just because N10 has arguments here and there doesn't mean anything bad.
Oh no,
it's a part of life.
It's like brothers.
Oh yeah.
I feel like if I wasn't fighting with the boys,
kiss and
we
then
wouldn't
make
be
up
close.
and sleep in the bed. Yeah.
Yeah. They're battle scars that make you closer. They make you understand one another better. It's like
110%.
I don't know. I always use the example of the road trip actually. When we were on the beach and the cop or beach patrol, whatever the hell he was, came up to us, and Rocco, aka Ribs, was trying to explain the story of N10 basically to this guy, and he was like, "That's a little shady," because we were like, "Oh yeah, we met online and we're from all these different states," and he's like, "Are you lying?" Like it's just like the concept of N10 is just insane when you really look at it on paper,
especially people who aren't accustomed to the internet and the internet culture
exactly.
Too. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise to be able to do all those things, and we've only been together 4 years now, and the amount of trips we've amounted is just insane.
3. It's crazy. Only 3.
3 for Aiden.
I've done 6,
which is a lot in retrospect.
Oh yeah.
But
in 4 years,
in terms of N10 as a collective, all the mini trips, I don't have lost count. Genuinely, it's crazy.
Aiden probably would have done more too, but when we started N10, you were mad young. So
oh yeah,
that's also that.
I was young, and then COVID, so it was great.
Yeah, COVID
it just went
wrench.
really well. Yeah, I become an adult, and COVID hits, and I'm like, cool. I think that stopped me from 2 or 3 trips. That was a good time. Yeah.
Well, that's the crazy thing about packs. The first pack, or you know what I mean, the first big packs being literally a week before COVID. It's you can point at any trip and there's some crazy detail or story about every single one.
Every trip will have something.
Yeah, the PAX one is just insane. It felt like I was the calm before the storm, literally coming home and COVID was happening, and it was just holy smokes.
Yeah. For me, the craziest trips were man, every trip had something and you think not I stubbed my toe, ouchie. We're talking about you heard this whole thing about me getting towed and everyone feeling sick, things like that. Things like that happen. Yeah. I swear, we almost had KnightSky and Litz dead on our road trip because they were so sick. This is
dude, yeah, I barfed twice. You drew me a picture of it.
There was always something. But for me, the craziest ones, the ones that had the most mishaps, were the road trip. I would probably the Chicago trip with I think it was the second Chicago trip.
Yeah.
I guess this technically is a third one. I almost don't count it as a third one, but yeah, it's technically the third Chicago trip. But the second one was pretty crazy. And then because that one was simple, but yeah, I spent I don't know, almost $1,500 or something on that one. And then what was the other one I was gonna say? And I guess this one, I guess Chicago's just bad luck because the first Chicago trip I remember being amazing. That was
it was literally
incredible.
Just the B&B. That was our only downfall.
Oh, that's right. We had a B&B problem, but it was only the first night. But these other 2 Chicago trips, I feel have been death sentences, and we just barely made it out on top. And we're it was fun, but jeez.
That's how I was feeling after the most recent packs. I just felt so bad because I remember that Saturday we got back to the room and I was like, bro, that was such a wasted day. We didn't get anything accomplished. Our biggest goal after Cisco had left, Cisco left and you basically missed nothing. Our biggest goal was that we got 5 guys. That was the most success we had that day.
Yeah,
everything we wanted to do was just failing, and it carried into Sunday morning too.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean,
that's literally how it was when Luke came this weekend. So Luke just came to Chicago this weekend, and I hung out with him yesterday. And I had about 5 hours. Yeah, we had Giordano's. That was great. And then everything else was just wild goose chase, walking around the city. Everything's closed. Everything's blocked off for an event. We just couldn't do anything. We were just walking for nothing. Like, yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah.
I know
But at the end of the day, it's the N10 magic. Even if you're in the shittiest of situations, you can't do a single event in a trip area. Just, being able to look back like this, the stupid memories you make is the little jokes, the little inside jokes, the time you're spending together. I feel like even if you have literally the worst trip ever, just like, the N10 magic, the little sprinkle of N10 magic will always make the trip memorable at the very least.
But all right, now that the trips have been done, it's been like about a week. Where are we standing? How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up with a little reflection.
A little reflection. Because at this point, it's been we just launched our 4-year anniversary as well, and then we did this trip, and it's like seems like we've just come a long way. What do you think now that we can like reflect and look back at everything that happened, especially this past trip? Like, what have we learned? I can go first, or if you guys are ready to go.
Go for it, Cisco.
I'm not ready.
What?
Why would you ask such a heavy question and then be like, I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
None of us are ready.
Okay, so I think I really had fun that trip. It definitely was the last event I had over a string of events that lasted months. Like, sheesh. It's interesting. I think, I'm very blessed and very what's the word? I'm very thankful for having N10 as friends, having you guys as my friends. I mean, there's some friends that probably just ditch me on the side of the road if I got towed. Some people who would just be like, yeah, you have problems, but entertain me more. Like, there's some people that, I've had some friends that are not the greatest in situations like that. But, like, these boys stuck by me in my times of need. They kept calm for my sake. They, we work together, we communicate, and, like, we got through some of the worst moments. And, yeah, I think after this trip, like, I learned something this trip. It's like I have to, like, really work on getting stressed out. I get stressed out really bad, really fast. Like, I can just, and I'm working on it. Like, I tend to say, oh, I have the worst luck. I think this is my big takeaway, actually. Not, like, this is my big takeaway from this trip. It was a good lesson at the expense of these two, but it was a good lesson for me, was that, no, Cisco, you're not the guy with bad luck. God's not laughing at you and doing everything possible to make your life miserable. These guys have just as bad luck. They're just getting through the day.
Yeah.
Everybody's going through it, not just you. And, like, again, that's what I'm saying, at the expense of these two, because, like, it took them to have bad luck. I mean, Aiden, who can top off that bad luck Aiden had? Like, that one I was like...
I've never seen a string of bad luck like that. It was literally an Animal Crossing bad luck day.
Worse and worse and worse.
I was like, yeah, it was literally like a video game bad luck. It was scripted. It just did not feel real. And so I'm like, wow. And, like, after seeing them go through their stuff, I'm like, I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm not miserable and God's not laughing down at me or anything. That's not what's happening. Just got to keep moving. Just got to keep fighting through. And that's what, this is not just like a feeling I had during this trip. I've been having this feeling for a good few months now. Just like, oh my gosh, my luck is terrible. And I'm just getting, like, beat down while I'm already down. And normally I let it just keep me down and I'll just start getting into, like, a depression. Not this time. Like, I made this effort to, like, no, I'm going to fight back. I'm going to, like, try to work on goals. I'm going to try to, like, work on things. Just try to break my routine. I'll try to do things just so I don't stay in bed and just be depressed. And, after after this weekend we had, I'm just like, yeah, no, tenfold. Like, bad things are going to happen. Just got to keep fighting through it, and you have friends to hear you out, to rant or something, So
yeah, absolutely.
That's my big takeaway of this trip.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm getting tired. 12-hour workdays get to you. But,
I know.
but, no, it's like, it's crazy because, like, I get to reflect on these. Like, I've come so far. Like, it's just, like, life goes quick so fast. And it's, like I'm now an adult, like, going into the adult world, like, literally coming home from this trip. It's looking into apartments, dealing with tuition, registering for new classes. Like, it is the adult world just coming full force. I'm like, yeah, cool. And it's also, like, really crazy because I get to really feel like being an adult because I'm traveling on my own. I'm doing everything on my own, paying for this trip on my own, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, shit's expensive, world's crazy, but it's also like, I'm just super grateful that I get to have these experiences. Like I was kind of like, work was kind of getting in the way, and I almost didn't go because I like wouldn't have been able to go because of work. And I just, I was like, a couple of people were like, just maybe call the boss and just go and enjoy it. And it was like, you know what? Like I gotta really savor these moments. I gotta have these things to look forward to. Have these moments, and I like I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I went out of my way and had this amazing trip. These experiences are experiences to last a lifetime. Despite all of course, the hiccups and bumps, it's an experience to last a lifetime. But obviously, every experience is each their own. But it's always like, I'm just super grateful that I have this group of N10 boys because we go through these insane experiences, but it works out because I have such a good group of people to go with, amazing people to hang out with. It was just such a good time. With the hiccups were so contained and because of the cast and crew we had, and it was just made it a good time. It's doing things with people you really appreciate and love. It just makes it all that better. Like, I went to an anime con by myself, and I'm like, okay, sure. But you go to an anime con with your friends? Holy fucking shit. It's the best experience in the world. So it's just, I'm just like, makes me just like, I have like some of the coolest friends in the world that I met. I'm Canadian, and these guys are all American. We don't even speak like the same language or something. It's crazy. No.
Yeah, for sure. I guess on my end, well, Cisco got my little epiphany when I was at the airport, so he kind of already knows mine. But this trip definitely taught me a big lesson. I'm one of those members that, like, the opposite of Aiden. Like, I've had the opportunity to go on trip after trip after trip after trip, and after a while, you honestly just kind of get watered down to them. They're always gonna be exciting. They're always what I look forward to. Like, you ask me, what do you look forward in life? Like, not to be cringy, but like, yo, the N10 meetups. Like, oh shit. But you also, you get to the point where you've been on like 10 of these. You've already adventured so much of the country that you're kind of like, you get comfortable. And that was my big thing. I felt like I was very much in a phase. I was just like, it's not a matter of when my next trip was. It was more like, oh, I'll be there in a couple months. Like, I was just getting so accustomed to just going on all these trips and getting too comfortable. And this trip really was a big wake up call. It really, like, huge slap to the face, drill to the brain, if you even want to say, literally. Where, I've just really kind of like reawoke my hunger, and it reminds me of like when I first started YouTube before N10, just like when you're like, you can't get comfortable. You got to just be hungry in every aspect of life, whether trying to be healthier or etc. Point being, you will have your Cinderella moments. I remember the last day of the flight was, or the last day of the trip was leading into July 4th. So like flying home, I'm like flying over the fireworks, and I was reflecting. I was waking up, getting all my energy. I was like, "Hey, this is beautiful." But you will also get all those struggles, as you just heard from this entire podcast episode. But I think the beauty of it is that like that's just life, And a big thing on me personally is like I always use my mom as a big example. Is she had me when she was 22, and like she's never gone on a trip by herself. And I'm like, bro, I'm 23 and I'm gone on like 18 trips. Or I'm not 18. What am I talking about? I'm 23. But like at 18, at 19, I was already going on all these crazy N10 trips. So I just, I'm realizing my blessings, but also just not getting so comfortable and just expecting, win after win, Cinderella story after Cinderella story. You got to be ready for the ups and the downs, because there will be plenty of downs, as we've all learned. But you really get to see who's really there for you and what you want to accomplish and etc. But I'm gonna end there because I know we're trying to end this podcast, and I could ramble and preach forever.
Hour and 20 minutes so far, or an hour and 18.
Yes. We wanted to end 40 minutes ago, but I told you the conversation gets too juicy.
Yeah, we're saying like 30 minutes.
Way.
Yeah.
This felt like I thought we were literally hitting like 35 minutes. I was like, we're good.
We're well over an hour, bro. The conversation got too juicy.
Whoa, time flies. I thought this was gonna be our shortest one yet. And
I was ready to ramble for another 5 minutes, but we gotta call it.
I gotta get up. I'm on the clock tomorrow, so.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta go to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys enjoyed our stories, if you want to hear more, always subscribe. There will always be streams and stuff where we can always elaborate on this trip more and all the other future trips.
We didn't even talk about.
We haven't talked about the raves, nothing, but those are stories for the future. There's always more to talk
Absolutely.
about.
Feel free to drag them out of us at any point.
Yes.
Well, you ask us about us, we'll talk about it all day.
Well, thank you guys for listening in.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching the N10 podcast episode 17. It's crazy.
Yes.
Also, we need to do way more of these. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.